You know that meme going around on the internet where it's like, oh, when mom asks me to do chores, and it's like the simplest tasks ever. Or no, it's like when mom asks me for a minute of my time, it's like the simplest task known to mankind. And then your dad asks for a minute of your time, and it's like 14 hours of unpaid labor. And so my parents are moving,
Oh,
and so yeah, I've been just doing chores all day. It's been the worst. Okay, I shouldn't say the worst. It's actually been pretty fun, but oh my gosh, I just did a lot today.
I feel like that's kind of how it is every time that I'm home. My parents ask me, like, hey, now that you're home, why don't you do all this yard work that we haven't done since 3 months ago when you were here last? It's like, thanks, guys. Really appreciate that. Feels great being home, you know?
I'm glad you saved it just for me.
Yeah, I feel so special.
Feel so good right now.
Yeah.
Natty Wonders, featuring Jeremy and Bryant.
Listen, the man in the cave doesn't care who you look like. He's gonna kill you anyway.
I learned that I need to eat cats and infants, apparently.
Two of the best therapy sessions. You got D&D and Heavy Circles. Welcome everyone to Natty Wonders. Thanks for joining us this week on this wonderful episode. Bryant, how have you been?
I've been good. You know, I've just been trying to get back into the gym after that brief little break I've taken and just trying to stay on top of homework stuff and work and everything else. So things are eventful, going well.
Okay, so speaking of like taking little breaks, I've actually started. You remember a while back I talked about, hey, this, maybe like taking longer breaks might be better for your body. Um, you remember when talked about that,
Yeah, I do.
where it's like a lot of people have been saying, hey, like working out 6 times a day is probably not good for you because your recovery sucks. And then we were like, Psh, what a bunch of haters, am I right? Well, I'm starting to have a feeling that they might be right. They might be onto something.
Yeah, you think?
I don't know. I don't want to admit it, but they
But
might be onto something.
but I like working out 6 times a day.
Again, it makes the sad voice go
Yeah, my
away.
mental health depends on it.
You telling me I have to take more breaks and work out less at the gym? Oh, but I'm finally back to Vasa. I don't know how people say it, but I'm back to Vasa Fitness.
Oh yeah.
That gym. It's actually, out of all the gyms I've been to, that one's like pretty nice.
I've heard it's really good. I'm just broke, so I can't afford it.
Dude, it's like the same amount as like Planet Fitness. It's like $10 for the basic.
Hmm. It's pretty
At
good.
least where I am.
Yeah.
So it's
Well,
like
mine's
that's all you
free,
need.
so
Wha Okay, well you're at college.
yeah.
Mine was also free in college, but
While you are not at college.
but while I'm not at college, I'm paying $10 a month.
Well, $10 a
Womp
month
womp.
plus like a $35 starting fee and a $40 cancellation fee when you decide to cancel. But yes, $10 a month.
And dude, honestly, the way gyms just like totally milk you of money is
Yeah.
insane. Because I was freezing my Vasa plan for a while,
Hmm.
not realizing that it would drain money every time I do it. Like I knew it was gonna be $10 every time I do it, but once I unfroze it, I'm pretty sure it just depleted me of 5 months worth of gym that I did not go to.
What the heck?
Hang on, I need to look into it, but I'll look at my bank account later.
Yeah, that's some that's some messed up stuff right there.
It's the worst. These gyms, they milking us dry, man.
Yeah.
First we have to buy groceries for bulking, and then Then gyms are pulling these shenanigans. It's like
Yeah,
we can't get a break.
yeah. That's just kind of how it
Oh, life's
is.
so
That's
hard.
how they make it's like credit cards, they just make money off of people that like either get the for credit cards, the ones with annual fees to them, or they like carry a
Hmm.
balance, and that's how credit card companies make money. But like gyms are the same way. They get people at the beginning of the year or people that kind of start working out but then don't or that just stop, and they'll pay that beginning fee and then they'll just not cancel it because there's like a $50 cancellation fee. So they're like, "Oh, $10 a month. Like,
Yeah,
I'll go enough to make that worth it." And then they never do.
exactly. Yeah, they milk me of my money. I milk every machine. I actually start taking the machines home. I wish.
You got to get, bro, you got to get stronger if you want to pick those machines up and take them home.
I know, right? I need to. That's why I'm investing in a gym bag so I can start stashing away all the dumbbells that I use.
Bro,
Slowly but
hey,
surely, all the dumbbells will be gone.
I just gotta say, Gymshark has one of the greatest deals on a backpack that I've ever seen. It's
Right now?
great. Yeah, well, I mean, I bought it a while ago, but it wasn't on sale. I think it was like $25 for like this really, really nice gym bag. It's like a nice texture. It's got strong zippers on it and just like a lot of nice compartments for like all the stuff that you got. I don't know. You should take a look at it. But
Yo.
not sponsored, by the way, but I bought that gym bag like 6 months ago. Thing is amazing. So good.
Yeah, I need to look into that. I
Yeah.
don't know. My only problem with Gymshark is the turn that they've kind of been going with their social media account. I won't go too much into it
Ah,
because that could be an episode in and of itself.
yeah.
I don't
And
know.
and this is why I don't have social media.
Ah, yes. Maybe I should also stop doing that.
No, Jeremy, you have to take care of the Natty Wonders Instagram account. Wink, wink. Follow the Instagram account for some reels.
Yes, yes, follow it, please. Um, but yeah, so
Shameless
let's
self
go on
promotion
to
aside.
shameless self-promotion aside. Let's go on to the meat of this episode, which honestly, recently we've been talking a lot about gym stuff. We need to go into the nerdy stuff, into our nerdy sides again.
Oh
Am I right?
yeah. Yes, sir.
Oh, yes. So today we've got our best homebrew rules that we have right now. Are you ready for this?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so what you use homebrew rules, right, for your campaign?
I do. It kind of depends on the campaign. Some of my favorite homebrew rules, I like kind of changing levels of exhaustion. That's kind of one of the homebrew rules that I use a lot, just making it kind of more meaningful
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to just, like having movement speed and doing the things that the player's handbook suggests. I also, what else? When it comes to like classes and things like that, I tend to like let people be a little more flexible, or like if a spell makes sense from a certain person's background but it doesn't fit their class, then I'll also usually tend to like just let them have that one as long as it's not like OP and gonna break everything. Or
Okay, so that's like a session zero kind of homebrew rule where it's like, yeah, like yeah, you could totally do that
yeah,
for character
I think
creation.
most of
I'll allow
mine,
it.
at least for every single campaign that I DM, most of my homebrew rules are in session zero, and so they're not
Hmm.
changed that much. Sometimes I'll like approach a problem differently than maybe the player's handbook or the DM's handbook says that you should, but I don't know. That's not really like a homebrew
Yeah,
rule. That's just like my interpretation of it.
I understand. Yeah, that makes sense. I totally agree. Yeah, like session zero rules like that, I think are more meaningful to characters. It spices things up. And honestly, I think it could just make a campaign more
Yeah,
fun,
just letting the players kind
overall.
of do their own thing and mix and match the classes with the spells that they want or weapons that would make sense for their background or stuff like that.
Oh yeah, exactly. Um, how about this homebrew rule that everyone uses that a lot of people actually believe is in well, I don't know how many people believe it's in the um like some people might think like, "Oh, this has always been in the player's handbook." It hasn't. But pretty much health potion as a bonus action. That's a classic homebrew rule that pretty much almost I've seen everyone use at
Yeah,
this
definitely.
point.
I
What do
like
you
it.
think of that?
I think it's you who does it this way, but basically like where you can take a bonus action to use your health potion, and that's where you roll your dice for whatever health potion it is. But if you take it
Yep,
as a full action, you get full health points. You do that, right? Okay. I
I
really
do.
do like
Yeah,
that. Just because like
I do that one.
because it's a full action, isn't it? In the handbook. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've played
Yeah,
a campaign where that was like you actually enforce that because it's just kind of dumb. Like it's especially at low levels, you're like, oh well, I'm at 12. I have 12 hit points, and I need to drink my lesser health potion, which is 1d4 plus 4 or plus 2 or whatever, right? And
yeah.
so you drink that.
Then you get a
Yeah, you get
rinky-dink
one, so you
number.
get 5 HP back or whatever, and two things attack you and your HP's gone. So that entire action was just wasted. I don't know. It doesn't
Exactly.
make sense, and I don't know. It makes gameplay move a lot faster if you're just utilizing your bonus actions, especially at low level. You don't no one has any bonus actions they can take.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. It gives them something more to do. Not to mention, like, I usually describe it as like, if you're gonna use it as a bonus action, I imagine it more like you're just pouring it all over yourself, and like you're not really you're not drinking all of it. So that's why you have to roll because to see like how much you actually
Yeah, but if you
drink.
drink it, then it's like
Um,
if the magician or the magician, if the apothecary or wizard that mixed it knows anything of what they're doing, they're gonna have somewhat consistent result, and so they're gonna mark it like, oh yeah, it's gonna
exactly.
give you 6 HP or whatever, 8 HP, and so when you drink it, that's what it does.
This will always give you
Yeah,
12.
that makes I do like
Yeah.
that one. That one makes a lot of
Yes.
sense.
Next up, the flanking rule that I use. This one I got from a YouTube channel a while back, which was XP to level 3. Um, gives really insightful D&D like tips, stories, whatnot. Go check them out. But this YouTube channel said that he does the flanking rule so that when two characters want to flank an enemy, they have to be they actually have to be like 180 degrees like
Hmm.
behind the creature. They can't be like adjacent to the other person. They can't be next to the monster when I don't know how to describe it without like drawing it out, but it has to be like 180 like completely behind the
Yeah.
monster. And I think I did this rule because of the seafaring campaign that we did, where you were an
Mm-hmm.
Aarakocra that was able to
Yes.
fly,
Yes.
and when you flew above like monsters, we ruled that it was like, oh, that's advantage, right? And I'm like, crap, yeah, that kind of is. And so I was like, all right, we need to change some of these
Yeah,
rules.
I definitely remember that. We milked that so hard. Just like
That's why Aarakocras are so
yeah.
broken. Just flying is speed
Yeah,
is
they're
crazy.
great. I love the Arakaka. They're just not they're like the stat boost that you get. They're not amazing. And so you kind of start off pretty weak. But
Yeah,
I don't know. Like that I think that this rule is good like in theory, but I feel like like a lot of times it's very hard to get around something, especially if there's more than one thing that's
exactly.
like you're attacking. And so, it depends I think on the boss if it can spawn a bunch of other different things. Like you can't always get around it, and you don't want to be on the other side because then you're
Hmm.
away from your party members. And so I don't know. It makes flanking more meaningful, but it also makes encounters harder. So it kind of I think balance it out. Like
It does.
take that into account when you're balancing your encounters. But it's great. It's a good thing. Just if you're, ever in like a cave or something, then you're never going to be able to flank anything because it's just going to block your path the entire way.
That's true. Yeah, and I think this does balance it out because so many times players are wanting advantage and sorry, pal, but if you're standing right next to the monster with your friend just like 5 feet away from you, that's just not enough to
Yeah.
get advantage. Unless you have like the pack tactics
Mm-hmm.
ability that kobolds have. Also, not to mention, this rule also doesn't work if the monster you're fighting has true sight or blind sight or if it's a beholder that you're fighting because it can just look behind you. So I think this does balance it out. I think it makes advantage a little more meaningful. Um and just helping those players like, okay, how can we like
Yeah.
flank this thing? I think it helps them think more tactically. I haven't had a problem with it in my
Yeah.
current
Speaking of
game.
making things more meaningful, how do you run inspiration in your campaigns?
Oh, dude, there's so many homebrew rules for that. For this current campaign, since we're playtesting 1D&D still, we're just doing the base inspiration roll where it's like you get one and then you just roll at advantage or you get
Okay.
to re-roll something at advantage. I've heard inspiration points that you can give out where it's like you just give out one anytime like something inspiring happens. And then they're able to use up those points to up their rolls just by one. So you can give out like a ton of them. Um, I've heard that one works pretty well. I haven't play tested that. There's like something similar to a bardic inspiration where like you can give it out in this way where it's like, oh, you did something inspiring, boom, you get a d4 that you can then roll to add to your next roll. Or you do something inspiring again, boom, I now it's up to a d6. Oh, boom, d8. Oh, boom,
Yeah.
like something like that. um there's multiple ways you can do it. I feel like the problem with inspiration is just that you can only give one out, and it just gives you advantage. There's no really dynamic thing to it.
Yeah, I've always found that difficult. I don't think I've ever given out inspiration points when I was DMing. I just like get too focused on storytelling and I can't I just I
Oh yeah,
forget to
I
give it
forget.
out. So I should be better about that. But yeah, I don't know. I tend to give it out when players are like acting in character, especially when they do something that is detrimental to the
Hmm.
party or them, but that is in keeping with their character, just to kind of like help them out and incentivize it instead of them just all being chaotic good the
Yeah.
entire time or chaotic neutral. And so it just like I don't know. That's how I run it. But again, I never give them out, so I haven't been able to really test that very much.
Not to mention, like if you, I think inspiration's also good to just do base game with it because then you can be like, you can recall when they got that inspiration moment where it's like, whoa, they did this cool role play thing before, and now they are thinking back to it, and it's giving them that advantage. I think that's a really cool way of
Yeah.
DMing it. I've seen that done on another YouTube channel that ran D&D, the
Hmm.
Corridor Crew and whatnot, and I thought it was really cool, and that's how I still run it to this day. That's why I haven't changed it, just so I can be like, boom, you got that inspiration, and now you're remembering when you first got it, and it's helping you out in this cause.
I like it.
Um, yeah, that's why I just haven't changed it. Plus, I still forget to give it out. Um, this one I've read off of Reddit, and I think it's just pretty good at helping just keep the game going. But if no one can remember a rule, or like the DM and a player are like kind of like, oh well, I don't know if this is how it works, and the player's insistent like, well, I think this is how it works. If no one can remember it, the DM's word goes, and it's corrected next session, like once you look it up. This is especially helpful if you can't remember, I don't know, just like like the surprise. How does surprise work? You could just be like, all right, well, and you'd have to talk about this rule like session zero. Like if at any point we blank on what a rule does, I'll just make my own ruling and we can either correct it next session or we could just keep rolling with what I rule. Um, I don't know. What do you think of this one?
I mean, I think I like it just as like a good, um, like a general idea because the DM is the person that's making the game run. And so it's important that everyone
Hmm.
just is following what the DM says. You can correct them if they're making a mistake, but if you aren't sure and you don't know where to find the rule, it's not going to be fun to sit there for 10 minutes while you argue with the DM about this one little rule that's going to, lose you 10 hit points or something like that. It's like, it's keep the game
Yeah.
going. You can figure the rule out not on your turn, but just let it go, and then you can, if if something's wrong, then restitution can be made, and it can all be worked out in the end, right? You're not gonna, no one's gonna die. Well, maybe
Yeah.
they'll die, but probably not gonna die.
If there was one time I didn't know a rule and it killed one of my
No,
player
no.
characters. Um, I'll talk about that one later if
Okay.
you remind me. But honestly, I usually just trust my players if they if they tell me like, "Hey, I think this is how a rule works," or they're like positive. It's like, "Okay, so this is how this works." I'll be like, "All right, we'll run it that way." And if later on we find out that's not how it works, who cares? Like,
Yeah,
it was still fun. Um, and then this is one of my last rules that I really like. Are you ready for this one? This one's called Last Stand. So pretty much what this one means is when a character like completely dies, like fails all their death saves, they just get insta killed,
hmm
right? If they're not completely squished to a pulp and they're like still like relatively in one piece, I'll let them do one final action that is just like I'll just make it as cool. Like you can pretty much make it as cool as you can be. Just like one final action and that's it.
I like that idea. I feel like that's similar to the how do you want to finish this kind of thing. Um, it just like
Hmm.
allows for more storytelling and also kind of allows them maybe to do something else that will help the story
Yeah.
move along. Especially when you're dying, you want to make it epic. You don't just want to like, oh, you died, you got stabbed in the heart, and then you're dead.
Yeah. Like no one wants a
No,
unsatisfying death.
like they're already sad that they're dead. Now it's just unsatisfying.
Yeah. Yeah, no, but I think with this rule too, I'm pretty sure I made it as well where it's like you like if they do an attack action, it's an automatic crit. I mean, it's their last attack. Like it
Yeah,
better be cool. So I think I've also added that to Last Stand as well. But oh yeah. So the I don't know, what do you think of that rule or these homebrew
I like
rules
them
in
all.
general?
They're good. Um, I again, I use most of these just as I haven't ever had to use Last Stand, but I use these other ones just not really realizing that they aren't actually rules, but it just communicate with
Hmm.
my party just about like, hey, this is what we're gonna do. So there you go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I've also have you heard of I think I've done critical hits like this with you where it's the crunchy crits, where that's the one where it's like if you make a critical attack, a critical hit against someone, you max out your damage dice and
Yeah,
then
I do
roll.
like that.
and it just
Because normally it's just double
yeah,
dice roll,
and both
right?
yeah, and which can lead to like, oh wow, I rolled really low for a critical
Yeah.
attack.
I do like that. It just kind of
But
guarantees a good amount. And, if you roll high, you roll high. If you roll low, it's still great. It was a critical. Because you don't roll 20s very often.
mhm.
And so you want to make that
No,
meaningful. You
yeah.
want to make people just like scream for joy when they hit a 20 and like cry in pain when they roll a 1.
No, no, yeah, and like also enemies will also do these crunchy crits. So like damage can just spike
Yeah.
insanely high. You remember that one time where our boy Nathan um rolled like 5 20s in a row, just absolutely annihilating um Greek check
Yeah,
they were
yeah.
with
And
Nar like
he
completely.
was a paladin too. So he was using his like smite and also critting at the same time.
Oh my gosh.
It was
Oh no no no! He wasn't rolling. He didn't roll 20s. I gave him a fetch and weapon that crit on a
Oh yeah, you
19.
did. You rolled 19 and 20s. Yeah. Yeah.
And I beefed you guys up with
Yeah.
so
Well,
many
because
magic
we
items
needed
to
them.
the
Like
point where
we literally lost to Greek Shack. Like, and we had
that's
all
true.
these. Okay, I didn't have that many magic items. I had my freaking decanter of endless water, and like that's it.
I
It
mean, it
did.
came in clutch, but
It
like you
totally
guys
came in
had the
clutch. Do you remember?
you guys had the
Oh my
the
gosh! Yeah, the
time
time crystal.
crystal thing.
Uh
It just give you like so many actions with plus
yeah,
with haste.
it was
It
ridiculous.
was
Seth used that one so well. Oh, do you remember? Do you remember
no, yeah.
Nathan's well, what's it called? The activation word for his spear.
Oh no,
I won't say it. I won't
we
say
can't.
it.
Yeah, I can't even allude to it because I don't want him
We'll
or
get
us to get
canceled, bro.
canceled so quick. Dude, it was
So
so
funny.
funny though.
Anyway, us reminiscing about
Anyway,
the past.
total
Yeah.
inside joke. It was a boss fight. The paladin had 5 actions, and he crit on like
It
four
was
of
so
them.
ridiculous.
He also had like advantage on all of it because we didn't do the 180
Yeah.
flank rule, so everyone was
Yeah.
just flanking Greek Shack, so he just had advantage. That makes sense
Yeah.
now.
Especially because he had two heads.
Oh,
Like, it would
but
have made
okay,
more sense for him, like, for us to do 180, like, have to be behind him to get it. But either way.
yeah, yeah, that makes
Anyway, we're just
sense.
referencing this
Yeah,
campaign
if
that,
I
like, these guys know nothing about. But it was a great campaign.
that's true. It was good. It was insane, and I think we
Hmm.
finished it off really well. But that one time that I messed up big time as a DM, and one of my friends will never let it down. 'Cause I messed up that hard. No one rage quit or anything. Um, but I still feel bad to this day because first, so it was like a mini
Hmm.
boss fight. The players were feeling really good. They were fighting some grave robbers, and this one NPC that became a revenant was hunting them down, and he absolutely messes them up, especially the monk character. And the monk could use a key point to disengage, and I was like, "Oh, this is gonna sound really dumb," but I said that invokes an opportunity attack,
Ah, yes,
right?
I see the problem.
And so then he crit and he died, and then he failed all of his death saves.
Oh, no, no.
Even I tried to throw him a bone, and that roll failed as well, and he died.
Oh, Jeremy.
And then afterwards, Afterwards, he looks at the rules and he's like, disengage doesn't use opportunity attack. And I was like, wait, actually? We literally went through a whole story, like finished up a whole storyline with him like becoming a revenant and just absolutely destroying this other revenant, saving his friend. He made a new character, then looked at the rule and was like, "Wait a second, dude, this." And we're like, "I can't go back now." That was probably the lowest point of my DMing career right
That's
there.
so sad.
I felt I felt so bad, dude. I felt terrible. And like to this day, I'm always like, okay, I now know what
Hmm.
disengage means. I was so dumb. But you know what? You
You live
live
and you
and you
learn.
learn. Well, okay, well
He
he didn't
died.
live. He he, he learned, but he didn't live.
Now he knows to question your judgment.
Yeah, he's always gonna be questioning my judgment at this point. But here's a oh my gosh. Here's a homebrew rule that I don't really like. It's critical skill checks. That's the one where you roll a 20 on a skill check and you automatically pass.
Mm.
I don't know. Personally, I don't really like
Yeah, I
those.
think it depends on the context.
Um,
Like I always run it where if you roll a 20 on some kind of skill check, then you can like flavor whatever you're doing, or like you
mhm.
can, you know, obviously
Yeah.
that. But it's I always give it like a little it has a little bit of a bump to it, I think. um I don't think, well, most of my skill checks are not over 20, but if they were, like, I
Yeah.
think I would run it just kind of the same, where it's like if you're like close-ish and you roll a 20, I would say okay, you pass. But if you're still like far away, like it's a 30 and you roll a 20 with a +0, it's like, yeah, no, you're not passing. No, it's just like it's not
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. There's like just some times where it's like, okay, dude, this is literally
Yeah.
impossible to
Doesn't matter what
do.
you roll.
Yeah, or yeah, or like whenever it's like, oh, I want to hit on this girl, it's like, okay, well, she's not interested, and there's like nothing you could say that will
Yeah.
make her
Like she's
interested in
married,
you.
she's got like
And then
4
they roll a
kids.
nat 20 on, yeah, it's not like a nat 20 on the charisma check is gonna make her divorce her
Yeah.
husband and leave her kids for you. It's like, dude, that's still like, okay, cool, you rolled a nat 20. That still
Yeah.
doesn't change anything. Like the DC on this is fetching
Yeah. I
35.
remember like before I started DMing, I was reading like a Reddit Green Pages story about this one guy who was DMing a campaign, and they were like in the mountains, and this one guy failed, it's a dwarf. He fails like a dexterity save to not fall through ice on this like snowy mountain, and he like starts sliding down the hill,
Hmm.
and like he falls off the cliff, and he's like, I flap my wings or flap my arms really hard like wings, and the DM's like, okay, roll for it. So he rolls, and that
I wouldn't even have you roll for that. I'd be like, okay, that's
that's
funny. You
funny.
fetching
You
died.
die. It's like, that's funny. Start rolling a new character. But
I would like to lat spread.
but yeah, he's just like, he let him do it, and so it's like the funny part was that he had to narrate a dwarf flapping his arms so hard that he flew back up to the surface. But I don't like that at all. Like, it doesn't make any sense. It's not possible.
No, yeah.
Usually nat 20, if you roll a nat 20 and it's like something viable that is possible for you to do, I will like let you
Yeah.
do it. But if it's not, like if it's impossible, I don't really care what you rolled. You're not going to be able to do it. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, like call us buzzkill or whatever, but like I'm not adding
No.
that rule
No.
to the game. That's it's an F tier
F tier,
homebrew rule right
absolutely.
there. health potion as a bonus
S
action, that's
tier.
S tier. S
S
double
plus
S
plus.
tier. Exactly. All right, well, that's enough of our rant. Let's get on to the best part of the show, which is
Gymtok Slander.
that's right, Gymtok Slander, sort of. Did you hear? Do you know Alex Eubank by chance?
I've heard of him.
He's like super aesthetic, super lean. Um, everyone's like, I don't freaking know anymore. Everyone's like, oh, is he natty or not? Like, I don't know. I don't really care. But Alex Eubank actually just got hospitalized.
Oh dear.
We're not a what do you call it? We're not like a drama channel. We don't go over like this stuff usually, but I did want to see like what kind of lessons we could possibly learn from this. So for one, Alex Eubank is super lean. Like I'm pretty sure he stays well below like 10% body fat, just like
Hmm.
all the time. And then just before he got hospitalized, he went on a 48-hour fast for religious purposes. Um, and in some of his recent videos, he was saying how he was having like some heart palpitations and like arrhythmic problems.
Wow.
Another influencer, Coach Duche, he like already went over most of this. Um, so do check that video out. But for me personally, I like the heart palpitations and that stuff. That stuff's pretty scary. But what really, what I kind of saw this coming just because of how lean he always stayed at. And there's a lot of problems that come from being that lean, being under your body fat percentage. Brian, do you know what the recommended body fat percentage is for both men and women?
I don't know.
It's like 10 to 15 for men, and then like 20 to 30 or 20 to 35. I don't know, 20 to 30 for women.
That makes sense, yeah.
That's like the recommended, just so that you don't like completely, just so you can have like warmth. Um, so you can have extra calories if you don't eat enough. And it's higher for women just because like women have bigger hips and like they need, they have it in their chest, whatever. Um,
I love you're just glossing over that.
look, man, I want to talk about this.
It's biology, Jeremy.
Okay, fine, they're
What's
boobs.
making you uncomfortable? Okay, I'm satisfied.
I'm glad. But yeah, so anyway, if you like stay under your recommended body fat percentage for too long, there's like multiple side effects that can happen. For one, your like asexuality, you're just not gonna want to like be horny ever. Um, and you'll be cold, sick, have headaches. I mean, it's not fun. I've never been there because I've always been on the bulk. I'm trying to get fat, if anything.
Hmm.
Not really, but
Kinda, a little bit.
we're gonna get a little bit of pudge here and there. But yeah, what do you think just from like the from what I've described with this whole situation so far?
I think, yeah, I mean, it definitely depends on your personal lifestyle and how you live. But keeping a healthy amount of fat on you is good. I know freshman year of high school, I was 9% body fat, which wasn't great, but I was also 114 pounds. And
Hmm.
so, it kind of like, it didn't really matter. I wasn't super active. It just kind of like how my body was. I have a fast metabolism, so I don't put on fat very easily. And but now, I'm 175 pounds, and I'm probably at like 15%, maybe a little less than that. But I don't know. I'm feeling good, and if I can go a day without eating, and I'll be fine. I don't have to worry about just like my body digesting itself or something like that. So you always want to keep that healthy amount. Don't go too much to an extreme. I think the media kind of does disservice, and like Instagram influencers do a disservice to people, because all the people that they're thrusting out there that are, big and bulky, are either on the gear, on trend, or there's like super dehydrated so
Hmm.
that they look more cut. And it's not a healthy lifestyle.
Definitely
You
not.
can get there, you can look good, but without being unhealthy. You can have both.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Um, I don't know. It makes it kind of hard to like look up to these influencers when they're going into really unhealthy territory.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
but I don't know. I hope Alex is okay. Sending prayers his way.
Yeah, we're
Because
not trying to
he
diss the guy at all.
no, yeah, not at
He's
all.
like,
I love that guy. He makes great
yeah,
content,
yeah. I
but
mean, everyone deserves the right to live, and he's doing what he thinks is best, and we wish him the best. So
exactly. Yeah, just I'm hoping he I don't want to say learned his lesson because like I don't have any authority to tell him that, but I do hope that he does learn his lesson though. And in trying to be a little more healthier, like you don't have to keep the Greek god status carved from marble kind of physique. I mean, it's sick for like a little bit, but don't constantly be chasing it. Um,
yeah.
please eat well, get your calories in. And then for this last bit of Gymtok Slander, we don't have any videos today, unfortunately. But I sent Bryant this really funny, this funny cat that's been trending. Do you see it on your Instagram?
Too eepy
This
on the ground. He is not working out.
we need
Yes, I see.
we need to assess this photo here. So it says this cat is not lifting. It's a cat. He's got a he has a dumbbell, or more like he's resting his little head on the dumbbell, and he clearly doesn't have his eyes open, and he's not working that hard.
He too sleepy.
His butt is not working out. I mean, look at it. The dumbbell's on the ground. He's a fat cat. Or maybe he's pretty lean. I don't know.
He doesn't look too chunky, but he's not skinny.
He's definitely taking up space in the gym, though. That's for sure.
Yeah, he is. He's only got like, what's he got there? 15s maybe?
Come on, dude. 15's really?
Loser. What are you doing? Freaking
I could I
lies?
could curl
Like,
that for hours.
yeah, exactly.
Wow. Very sad, but what can you do? We all start somewhere. And if you suffer
Mm-hmm.
from narcolepsy while you're doing curls, I'm sorry to tell you this, but maybe don't do bench press.
It's actually kind of funny because like I have narcolepsy,
Wait, actually?
but I also sleep naked, and so it's kind of a bad combo.
Wait, slow down. What? You
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I'm like, are you being serious?
Yeah, I just like fall asleep randomly
Dude,
naked.
I was like so confused. I'm like, What's this guy on? Like, how does narcolepsy affect you? Why are you naked?"
Yeah, bro, I sleep naked. That's why. No, I'm
Wha-
kidding. I don't actually. It's kind of weird, but.
All right, well, we'll end it right there.
Okay, good.
However, we have a great episode coming out next Wednesday, so please drop a follow, give us a review, follow us on Instagram. You're not gonna want to miss what we have cooking up. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Tell us what you think about it on our Instagram, Natty Wonders. And yeah, I hope you all have a great rest of your day. And as always, see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I sounded like Markiplier there. That's how he usually ends his videos. Hey, adventurer. Looks like you made it to the end of this episode. Again, we're so grateful that you listened to this project of ours. And hey, if you enjoyed, why not share your favorite episode? It helps us out, and when you hit share, you will always roll a natural 20 on your first roll. And to spice up the deal, we'll even give you a nice, juicy PR that you've always been dreaming of. Want to play a bigger part in the adventure? Follow us on Instagram at Natty Wonders. Send us your best Gymtok Slanders, and we'll review them on the show. Have a great day.